Picture this. A packed congressional chamber, cameras rolling live across the nation, and in just 12 seconds, a sitting president fires 7 words like bullets that will change everything. Women like you belong in the kitchen. But what he doesn't know is that the woman sitting across from him, Jasmine Crockett, is holding a secret that will absolutely destroy him. A secret buried for 14 years. And when she finally speaks, it won't just shock America, it'll rewrite history itself. The red light on the C-SPAN camera blinks once, then locks into that cold, unblinking stare we all know too well. Room 214 of the Capitol Oversight Chamber has become the most dangerous place in America, not because of weapons or threats, but because truth finally has a microphone, and the whole nation is holding its breath. Jasmine Crockett sits there like polished steel, her navy suit catching the studio lights, eyes never once breaking from the man across from her. And that man, President Donald J. Trump, seated not as a campaigner or a kingmaker, but as a defendant in a live oversight hearing on gender bias and minority labor suppression. The kind of hearing no president had ever been dragged into under oath. Until now, her voice cuts through the tension like a blade. Mr. President, in the 2020 fiscal year, your administration quietly reclassified over 143,000 single working mothers as temporary contractors to strip them of benefits. 87% were women of color. Would you like to explain that? Trump leans back like he owns the place, waves his hand dismissively, and delivers a line that will haunt him forever. Women like you would be more useful cooking in a kitchen than meddling in policy. The words land like a hammer wrapped in velvet, soft in delivery, devastating in impact. There's no gasp, no shout, just stillness. Even the microphone seems to pause. Across America, viewers freeze mid-sip, mouths agape. In a retirement home in Michigan, a veteran's wife whispers, "Did he just?" In a bar in Atlanta, a man drops his glass. On Twitter, #KitchenGate is born in 4 seconds flat. But here's where it gets incredible. Jasmine doesn't move, not an inch. She doesn't blink, doesn't flinch. Instead, she slowly lowers her eyes, not in shame but in calculation. And for 5 full seconds, the nation watches her not react. Trump chuckles like a man who thinks he's landed the final blow. His attorneys exchange smirks. Everyone expects the same thing: rage, tears, a fiery outburst that would justify the stereotype he just hurled across the marble floor. But Jasmine Crockett wasn't built for their expectations. She reaches for a glass of water, calm and mechanical. Her fingers tap once, twice against the wood. The sound echoes like a ticking clock in a bomb sequence. Because right beside her, perfectly centered on the desk, sits a weather-brown folder. Its seal slightly cracked, the edge of a document peeking out like a loaded weapon waiting for the trigger. What truth is buried so deep it takes a daughter's silence to unearth it on live TV? Trump keeps talking, emboldened by what he mistakes for submission. That's the problem with this committee, he continues, voice getting cockier by the second. You put emotion over economy, feelings over facts, and women like her get handed power because they cry well on TV. The words spill like gasoline, and outside those Capitol walls, the fire spreads instantly. News alerts hit phones before he finishes a sentence. But inside the chamber, Jasmine remains motionless. Her pen hovers above the legal pad, unmoving. Her breath is slow. Then a flicker. She curls her fingers around the pen, not to write, but to anchor. Her knuckles whiten. In that moment, her mind isn't in the chamber anymore. It's in a sweat-soaked kitchen in South Dallas, summer of 1998. She's 12 years old, watching her mother Dolores standing barefoot on cracked tile floors, balancing 3 pots on a 2-burner stove while wielding a soldering iron. Her mother is inventing something with duct tape, steel wire, and an old ruler. "You invent what they leave you," Dolores had said, "and they never leave us much." But wait until you hear what happens next, because this is where the story gets absolutely explosive. "Since we're talking kitchens, Mr. President," Jasmine says, her voice low and precise like a detonator being armed, "allow me to introduce you to one tool your empire depended on for 12 years. Trump blinks, confused for the first time. Jasmine reaches into her bag with deliberate calm and pulls out that weathered folder. No theatrics, just a federal seal and a stamp pad number. She places it on the desk like she's lowering a coffin lid. Dolores Crockett, 1991. U.S. Patent 456 to 11K. The name hits the chamber like lightning. Viewers across the country lean forward in their living rooms, bars, hospital waiting rooms. No one speaks. They just stare at the name, the date, the woman holding it like it's dynamite. Jasmine opens a folder. The paper inside is worn, faintly yellowed, but unmistakable. It's the blueprint of a patented heat-resistant adjustable fryer handle, one used in thousands of commercial kitchens across the country, including every Trump Tower kitchen from 2002 to 2014. Trump shifts. Just a twitch, a blink, but enough to show the tremor. My mother, Dolores Crockett, built the tool your chefs used every single day. They called it the Edge. She built it with duct tape, scrap metal, and her bare hands while raising 3 kids and working 2 jobs. She turns the document toward the cameras. So yes, we do belong in the kitchen, because we built it. Gasps scatter through the room like sparks on dry leaves. Reporters clutch their pens tighter. Staffers rush to verify the patent online. It takes less than 30 seconds. The record is there, public, legal, unshakable. But Jasmine isn't done. Not even close. You didn't just use her work, she continues, sliding the folder closer like an offering or a warning. You buried her name. You made millions off her design and gave her nothing. Not credit, not dignity, not even memory. This is where the story gets even more insane, because what Jasmine reveals next will make your jaw drop. She pulls out a contract, the original NDA her mother signed. But there's something in the fine print that's absolutely chilling. Clause 4B, buried in legal language. Client reserved the right to redact or omit all identifying demographic information of the original creator where deemed necessary to align with brand presentation. It wasn't just about protecting intellectual property. It was about erasing the human being behind it, because she was black. A former Trump procurement staffer testifies via secure video, his voice disguised but his words crystal clear. Trump looked around the room and said, "Find something whiter or make it white." Legal was ordered to create a clause that removed all demographic identity, photos, ethnicity, anything linking the inventor to her background. The revelation hits like a slow-motion car crash. This wasn't negligence. This was systematic erasure. But here's what makes this story absolutely extraordinary. Jasmine doesn't stop with just her mother. She launches a full congressional investigation and uncovers something that will blow your mind. Of the 347 items reviewed from that decade, over 300 had no listed inventor name. Instead, they were marked as internal design or unattributed third party. Cross-referencing with the U.S. Patent Office tells a different story. Those products had names, faces, people behind them, and overwhelmingly, they were Black, Latina, Asian, immigrant, female inventors who had been systematically scrubbed from the record. The visual that goes live on national television is devastating. A pie chart showing that 33% of Trump hotel innovations had missing attribution, and of those, 92% were linked to minority inventors later removed from brand materials. It wasn't a spreadsheet. It was a body count. Names begin appearing on screen. Maria S., Lopez's kitchen cooling frame, Dr. Angela Ralph's eco-filter, Kamala Desai's voice control room thermostat. Some hadn't even known they were erased. Others had died without ever being acknowledged. Then comes the moment that breaks the internet. A retired chef from Trump Tower, Chicago appears on the video feed, holding up an old metal handle, the same one Dolores invented. His voice trembles as he speaks. We called it the Edge. We use it every day for years. I thought it was just equipment, but now I know someone built this with her hands, and we use it without ever asking who. That praise wasn't mine alone. It belonged to her. Within an hour, #Dolars built that is trending across all platforms. Thousands post photos of tools they'd invented or inherited from mothers like Dolores. The country begins carving Dolores into kitchen tool handles. It becomes a movement. But the most powerful moment comes when Jasmine reads aloud a letter her mother had written to Trump years earlier, a letter that was never answered. "Mr. Trump, I am the inventor of the tool your hotel kitchens use every single day. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking that you acknowledge the mind that built it. I don't want fame. I want legacy. If you say my name even once, it tells my daughter that dignity doesn't need permission. The letter ends with words that will haunt you. Even if you never say my name, I'll teach my daughter to stand tall. And that's exactly what happens. When Trump tells Jasmine to sit down, girl, using words that haven't changed in meaning for over 100 years, she responds with 5 words that ignite a nation. I came here to stand. One by one, the gallery begins to rise. First a woman in the back row, then a young man in uniform, then a Republican staffer, then a veteran, then a teacher, then a senator. Across the country, people watching the live stream begin posting selfies of themselves standing up. Hashtag I stand with her surges to over 10 million mentions in an hour. The story ends with justice. The Dolores Act becomes federal law, providing protection and retroactive credit for minority inventors suppressed by NDAs and corporate erasure. Dolores Crockett is posthumously inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Her worn blueprint, sketched on the back of junk mail, is placed in a museum case like a piece of the Constitution. But here's what makes this story truly powerful. It's not really about politics or presidents. It's about every hand that built something beautiful and was told to stay invisible. It's about every mother who invented with what they left her, and every daughter who refused to let that invention die in silence. Some names never make it onto patents or headlines, but they live on in every tool we touch, in every daughter who dares to speak when silence is expected. Not everyone is remembered by history, but everyone has the power to rewrite it with the truth they refuse to bury. This dramatized story is inspired by real struggles and real people, created to spark reflection and civic awareness. If this resonated with you, don't just scroll past it. Like, share and subscribe to stay connected with stories where forgotten voices rise and buried legacies speak loudest. Because silence built the past, but your voice builds what comes next.